This actress almost drowned on set of a classic 90s film, but her concerns were totally disregarded by everyone. Keep watching to find out. Go ahead and click subscribe and ring that notification bell so that you'll never miss out on our future videos. Let's get started. Number 10. Jason Statham. The Expendables 3 featured a cast of some pretty heavy hitters, and dudes known for being super duper strong, like Rambo, the Terminator, and Terry Crews just being Terry Crews.
If I don't get this back, your ass is terminated.
Can you imagine the diet and workout regimen that all these guys have put together? Well, unfortunately, having this killer crew around him was not enough to keep Jason Statham safe. He almost died doing a stunt in a truck while on set. While driving, the brakes malfunctioned and he ended up driving off a cliff into the Black Sea. Very luckily, he was an expert diver and had most likely trained very heavily for the role in multiple scenarios. So he was able to free himself from the truck and escape. Number 9. Jackie Chan. Way back in 1986, we saw Jackie Chan in Armor of God. Well, he's known for performing his own stunts, which is part of the reason he's so incredibly loved. Well, there's a particular stunt in this film that required him to jump, grab onto a tree branch, and do a 16-foot fall onto a wall and beyond. While doing the stunt, however, he lost his grip on the branch and ended up taking a huge fall. When he landed, his skull hit a rock, which can be a deadly situation in many cases. This pushed some bone into his brain, which was removed through surgery, and he was right back to inspiring us through martial arts, just with a hole in his head now, which has since been filled with plastic. He must be super lucky since he didn't come out of that with any lasting brain damage and somehow had the ability to get through all of the crazy stunts in the Rush Hour franchise after that. Number 8. Isla Fisher. In the 2013 flick Now You See Me, Isla Fisher plays a magician and escapologist. So you already know that comes with some iffy circumstances. So in one of the scenes, her character Henley Reeves pretends to be stuck in a tank of water as piranhas pour in. That's already a huge no on my end, like I would not even want to sign on for something remotely as scary as that. Well, it gets even scarier for Isla Fisher from there. She was handcuffed and chained at the ankles and was supposed to free herself, but she got stuck, so she banged on the glass to indicate that she needed to be let out. But the cast and crew didn't realize she was serious, since, well, the character was supposed to be doing that as well. So pretending to be stuck and actually being stuck look exactly the same. Couldn't they have come up with like a hand signal or something if she actually needed help? I mean, come on. Number 7. Johnny Depp. In The Lone Ranger, we didn't even recognize Johnny Depp since he had completely transformed into his character. The movie was already a huge flop, so they're really lucky nobody died on set because that would have just added to the criticism of the film. Johnny Depp was riding a horse in one of the scenes when his saddle slipped, and they were moving at a galloping speed so he couldn't gain control. He held on to the horse's mane until he ended up falling in front of the horse. By pure luck, the horse didn't trample him and its hooves missed Johnny Depp's head by inches. Thank goodness that he survived with only super minor injuries, but that gave him a fright, I'm sure. And the movie was still terrible though. Friends, what do you think would have happened if this particular film and its stunts had been the cause of Johnny Depp's death? Definitely let us know in the comments. Number 6. Kate Winslet. Like we said at the beginning, it's one thing if the actress can't actually ask for help when she needs it, but it's a whole different thing when she's actually asking for help and it's disregarded by the others on set. When Kate Winslet and Leonardo DiCaprio were filming on the set of Titanic, there's a scene where they have to run from a huge wave in the tunnel of the ship, then cascade down into a dungeon-looking gate thing, and Leo helps free her from the water. Well, her jacket got caught on the gate while the water is clearly filling up in the area around them. Well, James Cameron said they only let her think that she was going to drown and that she was never actually in any real danger. That sounds like a really nice way to cover up putting an actor in apparent danger. He also says that he almost drowned on multiple occasions, so he knows what he's talking about. What is happening in James Cameron's life that has caused him to almost drown so many times? Number 5. Jamie Alexander. Her character is a total boss in Thor: The Dark World. Who would ever want to mess with Lady Sif?
Betray, and I'll kill you.
It's good to see you too, Sif.
Well, she was actually almost taken out entirely by a simple flight of stairs. While running down the steps in heels, she tripped, and her injuries were gruesome. She chipped 11 vertebrae, slipped a spinal disc, knocked out her left shoulder, and tore a rhomboid. Whew, that's a whole lot of breaks and bruises.
You're welcome.
Jamie Alexander, however, is somewhat of a Lady Sith in real life, since she was almost completely healed and back to filming in just 1 month. And even though she had a near-death experience, she jumped right back in and finished the film. Hopefully they didn't make her run up or down any more flights of stairs after that whole ordeal. Number 4, Michael J. Fox. In Back to the Future Part 3, Michael J. Fox endured a near-death experience himself. You would never think that with all the special effects, CGI, and whatever was available in the late 80s and early 90s that actors would actually be in direct danger on set. I mean, there are flying skateboards and time-traveling cars, so you would think they would artificially create the stunts as well.
I'm not really feeling up to this today.
In one scene though, Marty McFly is captured by a bunch of outlaws and a noose is tied around his neck since one of the bandits cries out that it's about time for a hanging. Well, the doc rescues him in the film and the duo escape yet another action-filled struggle. Well, Michael J. Fox was actually being hung in that scene, so that reaction wasn't in fact acting. He even passed out for almost 2 minutes before being saved. Thank goodness the hanging didn't last any longer than it actually did.
But it's good to see you, Marty.
Number 3, Tom Cruise. The Last Samurai is of course full of samurai swords and fighting with swords and swords all around. Oh, and of course Tom Cruise does his own stunts, so you know that there's a whole lot of room for the actor to get hurt while on set. Well, Tom Cruise and his co-star were both seated on mechanical horses and sent barreling towards each other at full speed, eventually swinging at each other with their swords. Well, even though the horses weren't real, which eliminated any risk of horse-related or trampling injuries, the same cannot be said about the swords. When his co-star swung his sword, it actually missed Tom Cruise's neck by just an inch. Luckily, his martial arts training allowed him to see that Cruise was in danger, and he avoided the situation the best he could in that terrifying moment. But that's not all. There's another scene in which Cruise is being attacked by 4 men, and yes, 4 swords. And there were a total of 70 moments in that scene where he could have been severely wounded. Number 2, Aaron Paul. Sometimes an actor's instinct or speaking up can change everything.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science!
Did you know that Paul's character, Jesse Pinkman, was actually supposed to be killed off in the first season of Breaking Bad? That would have completely changed the show as we know it today. Luckily, they kept Aaron Paul for literally all of the seasons, but it would have been disastrous if he had actually died while filming the first season. In episode 6, Aaron Paul asked to stand in a different spot than originally directed to deliver a set of lines. We're not really sure why he asked to change positions, but we're sure glad he did. A huge boulder fell off the roof of an RV while shooting and landed exactly in the same spot that Paul had been standing before asking to move to the new spot. My question is,
I'm sorry, what were you asking me? Oh, yes. That stupid plastic container I asked you to buy.
what was a giant boulder doing on top of an RV at that point, and why was no one else concerned that it might fall down? Well, good thing Aaron Paul had those instincts. Number 1, Tom Hanks. There's something already terrifying about Castaway considering it's literally a man stranded alone on a desert island. Well, Hanks had to do multiple things for survival and actually cut his hand on set while filming, so it looks very, very real in the film. Although initially didn't seem too serious, the cut became super infected very quickly and got so severe that he actually had to be hospitalized for it. When they arrived, the doctor said that the infection could poison his blood, so they needed to keep him there and regulate the cut. This delayed filming for a full 3 weeks, just for a cut gone wrong. Luckily, he made a full recovery and there was no poison to be found. Well, friends, there you have it. Our picks for the top 10 actors who almost died on set. What do you think about these actors and their near-death experiences, and do you know of others who almost died on set? Leave us a comment below. As usual, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell as we bring you more juicy info, gossip, and speculation about the shows and stars you know and love.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Until next time.